the it says you're recording.
I'm recording this, Russ.
Are you kidding or not?
No, I'm recording. Is that okay?
Sure. I guess the question becomes, what do you plan on doing with it?
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Russ, about your overall experience with KT.
Okay.
And we just like to have these on hand to review and constantly make our stuff better.
That's fair. I will ask you, I'm happy to answer honestly. I've had a very good experience with the program, but I have seen the two things. The title of this particular meeting that you set up was like case study interview or something like that. So I'm the case study, but the one thing I was going to ask you is I am not necessarily the type of person that loves not that you're even asking me to do it, but I would prefer not to be the guy with before and after photos on all over Instagram as the commercial of KT. Some people will do better with that, but my preference is I'm happy to share my results and talk with you. But if you could help me make sure that, you understand what I mean. You would ask me before you would want to put my before and after pictures of dropping my weight and stuff like that. But
Russ, I would never do that to you. Okay. And
thank you.
If the guys really wanted to, it's like, oh my gosh, Russ looks incredible, a rippling 8-pack. We got to show it off to the world. Of course, we would ask for your permission before we do that.
Very good. I'm not there yet. Working on it, but
working on it. We're always working on these things. Okay, it's a lifelong endeavor, Russ.
Yes, sir.
All right, Russ. Over the 16 weeks. Oh, so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you 4 questions. They're super simple questions. This is nothing crazy. Probably take, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then what I want to do is just briefly highlight what we're going to be doing going into mastery, what that transition looks like, just some things to think about, get your sights set on, kind of get retooled and reinvigorated for the next adventure here. Okay. Sound like a plan?
That's fair. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So Russ, your first 16 weeks went well. What kind of results, what kind of wins, what kind of things did you notice in the program?
What kind of win? So the first thing I'll tell you is that, and one thing I saw, I'm not on the social media and stuff all that often, but I did see, where was it? I'm trying to think where, you know what? We'll take that back. It wasn't on social media. It was on the chat thread of the app. And Sean wrote something in the last couple of days, which stuck with me. He said, it surely took a bit of a leap of faith to see Grant throwing some kettlebells on Instagram, talking to you guys and saying, sure, here's $4,000. I can make this work. To trust you to say, I get to do the work, right? But then you're a couple thousand miles away from me, but to say that it's a solid investment. So it truly took a leap of faith, but I'm pleased that I did it, because I will tell you that when you and I first met, I told you fitness has been a big part of my life. But when I hurt myself, I don't even know now, 3-4 years ago, I've really struggled to find a way to safely get back into strength training, resistance training. I use the Peloton. I sweat, but it's just not the same. And I really wanted to do something. I've always liked kettlebells. So the fact that I said, all right, these guys can teach me how to do it right, to set up a program that I can follow. There's clearly a lot to be said about the checky boxes and the task list each day of the accountability part. I become more of a walker. I am now a walker and get more steps with the puppy, which is good. Some of the bad weather days don't work. So I walk. I've done a better job of, not perfect, but because I'm always a late night person, but I've done a better job of trying to get to bed a little earlier, more consistently. From a nutrition perspective, I've clearly learned a lot more. When I did CrossFit 5 years ago, the people that were doing macros, I didn't care too much about it. I always thought I ate well. I didn't even investigate it. I didn't know about it, but I am a detail oriented person. So I've really enjoyed learning how to get a sense of eating the right stuff. Strangely, I've always been pretty much the same size. So I told you guys a few months ago, I did not think I was going to lose any weight, but strangely, I actually have. Depending on the day, 8, 9, maybe even 10, maybe probably around 8 or 9 pounds, which mostly was the little, the small gut that I have, that now I'm working on that 8-pack that you were just talking about. Again, I've gotten stronger and dropped, 8 or 9 pounds of fat, which is a good thing. And there's no question from the bells that I'm playing with, I feel better, I feel stronger. And it's been a really good experience to exercise without really feeling sore each day. Even though I actually like muscular good soreness, I have not hurt myself other than that one week I had to take off for a shoulder strain, which fortunately I bounced out of that. So it's been good. Between taking account of getting back into resistance training safely and taking control of my nutrition, losing weight, and seeing the learning even some of the guys that post on the board far more often than I do. I've learned a bit of things as well. I have not taken the step yet, Rich, to the glucose monitor, but my wife and I are talking about it, and in the coming weeks, I think we're going to try it. We would care about the fitness part together, so we've even talked about, again, at this stage in marriage, not necessarily dealing with little various gifts, but from a Valentine's Day perspective, we said, hey, maybe we'll do this together to get to live longer together. So I might try that soon. We'll see.
I love that, Russ. Prior to KT, what were some of your frustrations or obstacles regarding health, fitness, nutrition?
The main one, which I alluded to a few minutes ago there, was the fact that for the last couple of years, after I hurt myself and ended up with a back disc issue and had some intermittent leg numbness, which I still periodically get a little bit, I was scared about trying to get back into weight training. I did CrossFit for 5 years. I was never the strongest guy in the place there, but I went 3 times a week consistently for 5 years, other than when I was injured from something else for a period of time. And I really missed it. I missed the thing. So the obstacle was, how do I get back into this? COVID sort of slowed things down. I debated going to a real gym just to sort of get back into class work. I like the class idea, which is not what we're doing right now, but I did like the social, go, and it was less than 10 minutes from my house. Once you have to drive much farther away, it becomes harder. So, I think I was afraid to get back into it. I didn't have I never had a coach or a trainer or a guide to sort of help watch over my stuff, other than at when I was actually at the gym at CrossFit. And I think I don't want to say lack of motivation, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a program and something like you guys have presented to say, hey, this is what we're doing day in and day out, which has been very helpful for me, and to sort of force me to say, all right, we're making this work in the work week.
Yeah.
So,
you talked about that post Sean put up in the thread about, a little bit of blind faith, trusting the guy you saw on Instagram, investing a bunch of money. Yes. What was the thing that pushed you over the edge and got you to invest from the start?
So that's a great question. And I can't tell you I have a very clear answer. I watched, and I'm not even sure how I stumbled upon Grant's posts. I think I have an idea. There's a coach that I used to work with at CrossFit who's trying to sort of do his own similar sort of training and things like that. And I think he had connected. I was in touch with him after I started, or right when I was starting, and I think he was in touch with Grant about some guidance about building businesses in a similar fashion to what you guys do. And so maybe I saw it related to his feed. Either way, I watched Grant, saying, maybe me, some of it was probably me falling for the marketing of, hey, you can go up to a 48 kilo bell, which is, we're not there yet. I surely was not drawn to the drop 20 pounds, because I'm telling you, I didn't think I could even lose any. Of course I could lose weight, but sure. I didn't think I was going to change much in the way of size. I mean, I've been the same size for 30 years. I think some of it was me just at the time in my life where I've been looking for a long period of time to say, hey, listen, I want to get back into something. I think I prefer to do something at home. I have a room in my house. It's a gym. I have a lot of the equipment. I had 5 kettlebells, not the ones that I'm starting to use more now, but I had kettlebells. I like them even before seeing you guys doing it. Because again, we used them for years at CrossFit. I think I was just in a spot where I was interested in doing it. I probably fell for some of Grant's, put your name here now. I got they painted a picture of, which I know now, being on the inside for 4 months, was not really, he wanted like 5 guys a week or 5 guys a day or something like that, which for a period of time, you're clearly bringing new guys in, but it's not like you're dropping in 5 recruits every day into the package. But either way, it was some of the I don't know what the right word is, the push and the scarcity that, hey, listen, we have limited spaces. And then Grant did a good job with his little, we never met. It wasn't like a live video like this, but the little, here's a 20-minute video of here's how our program works. I see where you're starting. I think you could improve some of your strength. You might be able to lose some weight, some body composition change. And we have a team of 100, colleagues that are going through this at the same time that you can learn from them. So I think unfortunately, I had access. I mean, if 20, 30 years ago, if I didn't have the money to do this, even if I wanted to work out, I don't think I would have been in the spot of saying yes to this. I'm at a spot where, yes, it comes with a solid investment, but I had the ability to say, and my wife and I are at this point in our lives, primary focusing on taking good care of ourselves. And so investing in toys or other stuff versus putting a little bit of money into my health long-term, I believe in that. And so I had a little bit of the money. I mean, I could do it, is what I'm saying. And, it's not like I hope that you don't have people that are doing this instead of eating or paying rent or that sort of thing, but it's not for you but I had the ability to do it. And I really wanted to get into this, and I like kettlebells. And, again, I think you guys put on a good, however I stumbled into it. I'm really surprised at myself that I decided, hey, this guy who I saw, strong guy like Grant, swinging some kettlebells on Instagram, and all next thing I know, I'm giving you my credit card. I'm not sure how you got me there, but I'm really pleased that I made that decision.
Good. I love that.
That's a fair answer, right?
That's a great answer, Russ. That's a great answer. Russ, if you were talking to a buddy who was on the fence about doing KT, what would you say to him?
That's also another good question. I probably would rehash a lot of the stuff we're talking about here. I would say, listen, I don't know how I found myself taking the leap of faith. I mean, being very honest, I will say it's not inexpensive. It's not cheap. It comes with a solid, close to 4. I'm assuming, tell me if I'm wrong. I know this is being recorded, but for the KT part, was everybody paying the same price?
Well, just so you know, the prices went up significantly since you started.
Oh, really? Okay.
The prices went up by $2,000 since you started.
Oh, shit. Okay. Cursing on the recorded line here. For the initial 16 week, it's gone up that much. Wow. Good work. Congratulations that you're building such an impressive following. I'm pleased for you. I really am.
And what we're seeing is the same percentage of guys who took the offer for the 3,800, same percentage that are taking it for 5,800.
So I'll tell you this: you can record this so that when you guys look back at it, you'll laugh and you may take something from this. I was told once years ago. I haven't done a lot of work with this, but I was told when somebody was talking about setting up for consulting, an hourly cost. Hang on one second, Michelle Babe. I'm on a coach call here, but he went out a little while, 20 minutes ago. So somebody told me when you're trying to say, somebody asks you what's your cost for per hour for consulting, the answer is it was if they don't push back, you're not asking high enough. So, I mean, depending on whether it's $400 now or $600 now, whatever it was, somebody was teaching me about something. I mean, I'm not making money
Sure.
like that. It was the conversation, but obviously, if you keep raising this to the point where you start to, you'll see people, clearly push back. But that's impressive.
I know. I'll be honest with you, we were shocked as well.
Okay.
We were consulted we were told to raise our prices. They looked at our numbers. They said, you guys got to raise your prices. I'm like, well, by how much? By this much.
Good for you.
So we did it, and nothing changed except top line revenue.
Good for you. I love it. I mean, so back to my question, initially everybody was at the same 3,800, right? So I would say, and back to you and your question about, I would say, hey, listen, close to $4,000. I thought about this. I didn't talk to anybody else. This is normally, I'm the type of guy that's going to try and see what somebody else is paying. Is this the market rate? But you are the market for this type of, at least as far as I know, for this particular type of program. So I talked to my wife and said, hey, listen, I'm interested in getting back. We've been talking about this for years for how I can safely get back into it. So I want to do it. So I would tell somebody, you have to know you're putting your money where your mouth is, and then you're going to follow through, and you're going to put 4 days a week of training and all the other, keep paying attention to your diet, and everybody's going to feel different results in a different way. But I do believe that all of this together with the time, I think that the other thing is sometimes people will try and do something and expect changes after 2 weeks or 4 weeks. That's a lot of people looking for the quick fix. That doesn't exist. And I know that. So you tell somebody, I can say, listen, 4 months in, I have, again, lost weight, didn't expect it, but I've gotten stronger. I am not hurting myself. I've enjoyed it. Somebody wrote on the board recently that the workouts are therapeutic, which I thought was pretty interesting way of describing it. But I really do like the fact that kettlebells, you can see yourself getting stronger, but you're not really crushing yourself as far as like my experience with, I like CrossFit. I really like the intensity of workout. This is a different workout. But I think it's again, I think the biggest thing I would have to tell somebody is, listen, it doesn't come with a small cost, but in the end, I think you'll be proud of yourself that you pushed yourself to stay on top of it for the 4 months. Hey, listen, I bit to stay. You get to hang out with me for another year.
Yes, Russ.
Have you started jacking your mastery costs as well, or you're not there yet?
Well, only for the guys who come in at the new higher price point.
I see.
So
okay.
Anybody that came in with the original price, they'll get the same mastery price.
Okay. And that's where I have bought into is what pretty much everybody has been up until this point. All right. Thank you. Cool.
All right, Russ.
You can take more trips to Cayman.